Ladies and gentlemen, let me get your attention, please. We're going to be starting our program in just a minute or so. So if you could please go ahead and start taking your seats. And as a couple of announcements, I know that we got some really popular people. We got a lot of wonderful, amazing people from all over the world. So if we could please go ahead and take our seats right now so that we can get our program underway. Now, in case you did not see it, the first two rows are going to belong to the performers and those who are speaking. So we have reserve signs. So if you could please allow the first two rows in each section to please be left open for the performers and speakers. That way they will have easy access to the stage. And if you are a performer, go ahead and please be seated in one of the first two rows. If you're either a performer or a speaker. All right, good. It's good to have everybody here this evening. How are you feeling this evening? Feeling good? Are you happy to be here? Yes. We are here at the 2016 Global Humanitarian Summit. This is the fifth one, and we couldn't be happier that this is continuing to go on. This conference, first of all, is a celebration. It's a reunion, and it's an international gathering of humanitarians. And we're here to share, network, provide inspiration, and be inspired in return. And since all of you are here, that makes you part of this amazing global humanitarian movement. So everybody give yourselves a round of applause for being here. We also want to give a thank you to Unity North Atlanta for providing these fabulous facilities. Very much. And we also want to let everyone know that the entire weekend in this particular area is being filmed and video recorded. So if we got people, if you're very shy and don't want to be on video camera, we're just putting that out there. It is being videoed. So, but I think you're going to be fine. I think everybody's going to be fine. So we thank you for being here. And what I'm going to do right now, we have a person who has worked tirelessly for day after day, week after week, month after month, to make sure that this summit actually happened. And it's through the brain and thinking and all the doing and all the volunteers that we are actually here tonight. So I'm privileged to be here, and without further ado, I want to introduce my very, very good friend. In fact, I would say we don't have a word in the English language, and maybe not in even human language. The connection that Debbie and I have, I would say, is that you're trying to give a word for something that's maybe a 4 or 5 dimensional connection, but we only have a 3-dimensional language. So without further ado, everybody, please give your hand of applause for Debbie Ellison, the chair of this year's Global Humanitarian Summit. Hmm?
Oh my God, I never got a standing ovation before. Thank you so much. And by the way, we did not introduce Lee Griffin. Lee Griffin is an incredible MC, you will find out. He's a professional DJ and a professional event coordinator. And anyway, we've done lots of events together, and he is just fantastic. So, thank you. Okay.
Well, I got a question.
What's that?
I was wondering can I sit on you?
Can you sit on me?
Yes.
What? I don't get it.
Well, you know, the program says that you are the chair of the summit.
Go to your seat.
Yeah, we have a whole team of people that's going to.
Is that better? Okay. I want to welcome you all to the 2016 Global Humanitarian Summit. Yay! We've been working on this event for a year now, and I'm so excited and so thrilled that it's finally here, and I can relax a little bit. With Dr. Schulman, where's Dr. Schulman? Oh. Dr. Schulman, our illustrious creator of the Global Humanitarian Summit and visionary, he'll be introduced later. But when he asked me to do this Global Humanitarian Summit, when he asked me to organize it, I really didn't know what I was getting into. But I have to say, it's been one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. And yet, it's been the most rewarding and the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. So I want to thank Dr. Schulman for giving me the opportunity to do this and for believing in me that I could do it. And I did it! But really, that's not true because I didn't do it. We did it. There were so many people involved in this Global Humanitarian Summit and putting it on. I certainly couldn't have done it by myself. So there are so many people to thank. I really don't have time to thank everybody. But there are a few people that I do want to mention because they have spent, the last couple of months has been there practically their whole lives. And Zoe, can you come up here? Zoe Halgo is Dr. Schulman's wife, and she has done this in the past. She has organized the summits in the past, and she has just been an incredible help as far as the work and also such a support to me. I mean, we've been up at 2 o'clock every morning the last week, but she's been a great support to me, and thank you so much, Zoe. Also, Emily Ashcroft is, she has put in, I can't tell you how many hours she has put in. She's over all of the speakers. She has arranged and coordinated and spent hours and hours and hours getting all the speakers together and all the moderators. And she has just done an unbelievable job. We would not be here without her. So thank you. Sadie, come up here. I guess Sadie, for those of you who are involved in the summit, that goes without saying, Sadie is my right-hand lady. And if it wasn't for her, this wouldn't be happening. She has done, oh my God, she's the most organized person I know in the world. And she has literally been my right hand, my left hand, my heart, my legs, my head, everything. So thank you so much, Sadie. And there are two people here today, and if it wasn't for them, I would not be here today myself. And that is my parents, Oscar and Tilly Ellison. Stand up, Dad. Mom and Dad, stand up. I also have somebody else very, very special to me here, and that's my son, who has come from all the way from Washington, D.C. to support me tonight. So, Brad Smith. I would also like to thank Unity North Atlanta Church. They have been very supportive, everyone, the congregation, the staff. I want to thank all of the staff in the congregation, but mainly I would like to thank Reverend Richard Burdick. Stand up, Richard. And our executive director, Diane Glenn. I can't tell you the support that they have given the summit and me personally is just, if I had to buy it, I just wouldn't be able to afford it. So thank you so much, Diane and Richard. I love you. Also, this is a very special, this church is very special, not only providing this whole space for this, but also we're trying to start, and we'll talk more about that later, a humanitarian movement where places of worship all over the world have these global humanitarian summits. And this church is the first church to have a global humanitarian summit. So they are the leaders of this faith-based humanitarian movement. So thank you. Okay. As I said, there were so many people that helped put this on, and I would like everyone, and you know who you are, to stand, who has been a volunteer before the summit or during the summit. Anybody that has had anything at all to do with putting on this summit, please stand. Please stand if you are a speaker or an exhibitor. And they're not all here because we have a lot of speakers tomorrow. If you are a moderator, please stand. The moderators have done a tremendous amount of work getting the speakers organized. So I thank you so much. And last but not least, if you are attending the Global Humanitarian Summit, please stand up. And give yourselves a big hand. Yay! All of you are the heroes. All of you are my heroes. All of you are the givers of the world, the caretakers, the caregivers of the world. And I really commend you all for that, for being the humanitarians that you are. We're all here to make the world a better place. And I know I have met the most amazing people on the planet since I've been doing this. People that are just completely selfless and really trying, their whole goal in their life is to make this world a better place for our children. And it has been, as I said, one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I met so many incredible people. And I'm very grateful to all of you for that. And now I would like to end. Could everybody stand up? Yeah, stand up again. Okay. I just want to say before we do the affirmation that we're going to do, thank you again, everybody, for coming. Thank you for being who you are in the world. You're all so incredible, amazing people, and I just really appreciate all of you. And now I would like you to repeat after me. I am amazing. You are amazing. We are amazing. And I am a global humanitarian. Thank you so much.
Spirit told me to lay down on Mother Earth at the Itawa Indian mounds. So I did. And I began to hear at first little sounds that gently became this delicate conversation between each blade of grass. They were dancing with mycelium, the Earth's internet, the windows of roots, so that all can see into one another. No separation, just saturation. A connection so complete that it is not a connection. It is one. One elaborate conversation between one eternal existence and itself. The vision we see with our eyes that are made of millions of atoms that were formed in the stars that they are now witness to. Evolutionary irony. Creation's vision of its own creation. And in that vision am I, which from Spirit's point of view is I am. Which when I eventually finally tuned in was what each blade of grass was actually saying to each other in union. I am. I am. Yet I heard them separate at first. They never were. I was. Now, I am not.
¿Quién dijo que todo está perdido? Yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón. Tanta sangre que se llevó el río. Yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón. No será tan simple como pensaba. No será tan simple como pensaba, como abrir el pecho y sacar del alma una cuchillada de amor.
Who said that everything's lost? I'm here to offer my heart. So much blood carried away by the river, I'm here to offer my heart. It's not going to be easy, I know how it is. It's not going to be as easy as I thought, as opening the chest and getting the soul out. A stab from love.
De los pobres siempre abiertas, yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón como un documento inalterable. Yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón y uniré las puntas de un mismo lazo y me iré tranquila, me iré despacio y te daré todo y me darás algo que me alivia un poco más.
Moon of the poor, always open, I'm here to offer my heart. As an unalterable document, I'm here to offer my heart. And I'll join the ends of the same ribbon, and I'll go away quietly, softly. And I'll give you everything, and you'll give me something. Something to relieve me a little more.
Cuando no haya nadie, cuando no haya nadie, cerca o lejos, yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón. Cuando los satélites no alcancen, yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón. Y hablo de países y de esperanza. Hablo por la vida, hablo por la nada. Hablo de cambiar esta, nuestra casa, de cambiarla por cambiar no más.
When there's no one near or far, I'm here to offer my heart. When satellites are not enough, I'm here to offer my heart. And I speak about countries and hopes. I speak for life. I speak for nothing. I speak about changing this new house, just changing for the sake of it, no more. Who said that everything's lost?
Who say that everything is lost? I came to look for your heart. We are here to offer our heart.
We are here to offer our hearts.
Yo vine a ofrecer mi corazón.
Mi corazón.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. All right, thank you so much. We want to give that the thank you for the spoken word was done by Michael Burke, and of course that beautiful voice was none other than Sonia Osio. So, wonderful. Thank you. Now we'll have our performance by the Reverend Richard Burdick of Unity North Atlanta.
I'm glowing with energy here. That's why it's already humming. Can you hear the hum? Can you feel the hum? I'm sure it's being taken care of from above, yes? On behalf of the board of directors, the staff, and the entire community of Unity North Atlanta Church, I want to welcome you into our home, welcome you into our hearts and into our space. You have brought a gift and a blessing, and we receive the gift and blessing that you have brought in here. We in this church, we know that there are many paths to the one God that we all are looking toward. And when those paths intersect, there is a gift, an exchange of energy, an exchange of love. And we welcome your gift, and we hope that you receive the gift that we have. And we do hope you will come back and be part of the whole weekend experience, in particular Sunday morning, to join our congregation in celebration of Palm Sunday, but in more particular, the Humanitarian that was our master teacher, Jesus. But right now, I have a song. I was asked to sing a song and to offer a prayer, and they're going to be kind of going right together. And so I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to open up with heart, mind, soul, and body to the presence of life. By whatever name you happen to know that presence, it is good, it is holy, it is sacred, it is expressed in, through, around, and as all creation. Yes? And so we take a moment to, as I move to the piano, to just close your eyes and move into the inner sanctuary of your own being. That place that is untouched by any human experience, but that place that is awakened by the human experience that causes us to know that love that was just sung about. Infinite presence of love and light and goodness and holiness and sacredness. We behold you. We know you at the depth of who we are. And during this summit, as we awaken our attention and our focus to the call that has been placed upon each heart, we are grateful. We come here today from many paths, many cultures, many belief systems, yet we remember the truth that we are all one. And as individually we wake up to the call of our own spirit, we allow ourselves to have the eyes, the ears, the mind, and the very soul to support and amplify and uplift the call of those that we share this weekend experience with. And in the exchange of energy, the world is a better place. In the exchange of the ideas, and we know you as the source, creator, the one power and one presence that is God, that is life, that is love itself, that we are all uplifted, those that are present, those that are not present, those that might be in pain right now, those that are waiting to receive the good that every person in this room has come to bring to the planet. You as our creator, as our divine source, as a sustainer, the blesser, we give thanks. And in that gratitude we proceed, fully awakened to the oneness that exists here and now. And so it is. And so we let it be. In the name of all that is holy, sacred, and good, we pray. Amen. Amen. Together, amen. And so when I was asked to sing a song, I went through a library of songs that I have done in years past, and this one came to mind. 9/11. This world was awakened to our common humanity. Beyond our differences and the boundaries, we were awakened through difficult, dark, and angry actions. Yet what was awakened was beautiful and holy and sacred in every possible way. And I thought, this song, Out of the Ashes, you know, each person here today has noticed something where there was darkness in the world, and something stirred within you that was holy and sacred. And you reached out your hand, you reached out with your mind, your heart, your emotions, your spirit, your wallet, your time, and your energy. I applaud each and every one of you for doing so. And we as a nation did that back 9/11 about 14, 15 years ago. And so I offer you this song, Out of the Ashes, as an extension of the prayer, an extension of the work that we do here today, And we do from this point on for eternity. Out of the ashes grew a seed, out of pain and human need. There grew a bloom that proved to be stronger than the darkness. Within the rubble there shined a light far beyond our human sight. There was an ember that could not be put out. I invite you to put your hand upon your heart as I sing this chorus. There was kindness and mercy, forgiveness and compassion as we reached out to hold each other's hands. There was giving and caring, something greater we were sharing. From the ashes there grew a seed of love. That seed is within each and every one of us right here, right now. From despair there grew a tree, out of hurt community. Well, it was mighty, Lord, it was strong, offering its shelter. From the desert there sprang to life a place of refuge amidst the fight, a little healing that proved more powerful than fear. There was kindness and mercy, forgiveness and compassion as we reached out and held each other's hands. There was giving and caring, something greater we were sharing. From the ashes there grew a seed of love. Each one of us recognized where there was a need, where there were ashes, people that were broken, people that were downtrodden, people that were hungry, people that needed to be fed. We noticed where there was inequality, and we reached out. I'm going to invite you, as the song says, to join hands and to know that we are the most powerful force on the planet. As you join hands with those around you, know that nothing can stop good from being. Nothing can stop the presence of God from healing what has been broken, from healing that which has been wounded. As we sing and we remember the heroes of the past, the heroes of the now moment, and the heroes that are being born right here, right now. We won't forget the heroes, the strangers whose faces we now know, but we'll honor them forever by planting seeds wherever we go. Please stand with me. Let there be kindness. Let there be mercy, forgiveness and compassion as we stand and hold each other's hands. Let there be giving and caring, something greater we are sharing. From the brokenness we'll grow a seed of love, and from our oneness we will grow a seed of love. You are the seed, you are the gardener, you are the soil. The work that you do is so appreciated, and we say thank you, God. Amen. Thank you.
Oh. There we go.
Is that better? Okay. I need to mention one more person real quick. Sharon Sigler, I forgot to mention you, I'm sorry. Sharon has done a tremendous amount of work with the moderators and speakers. She's worn many, many hats, and I just wanted to acknowledge her also.
Mouse pad, okay. Well, it's not very, oops. We were going to have Dr. Gregory McPherson perform, but he was not able to make it due to personal difficulties, so we are going to miss him. However, we do have a performer who you are going to just love. It is a privilege for me to introduce this next recording artist. He was a former singer with the renowned group, The Temptations. He currently has a new solo CD entitled Back to Love. It's going up the charts and it's getting worldwide reviews. A fourth-generation singer from his great-grandmother, Ronnie started singing professionally at the age of 10. And he was in his grandfather and father's gospel quartet called the Gospel Rising Stars. He received a music scholarship at Shaw University. And of course, the rest, as they say, is history. So performing for you a collection of classics that you're all going to know and love, it is my unique pleasure to introduce Prince Ronnie Love.
Good evening, Global Humanitarians. Thank you very much, Lee. I just want, again, to just recognize all that the Global Humanitarians and the staff with Debbie and the doc here and what they have actually done to bring this together. Let's give all of them all their hard work, state of their age. Let's give them a round of applause right now. They've done such a wonderful job. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I see babies cry, watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Lima Land, there's a one-man band. He'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's take all in the blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just glide starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a lovely day. Just say the word, we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just glide starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together. Weather-wise, such a lovely day. Just say the word, or we'll beat the words down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me. Pack up, let's fly away. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way. and forevermore. That's how you stay. That's why it's incredible that someone like you, so incredible, thinks I am unforgettable too. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore. That's how you stay. That's why it's incredible that someone like you, so unforgettable, thinks that I am unforgettable too. Thank you all. Thank you, Global Humanitarian. Welcome and enjoy. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Prince Ronnie Love, everybody. Amazing. I knew you'd love that, and I wish we could have gotten out there and danced a little. So we're going to go ahead and invite Debbie up to make our next presentation.
Emily. I'm technologically so challenged. Okay. It's my honor to introduce two incredible, amazing young men who I've had the privilege to know for a while, a couple years. When I first decided to organize this Global Humanitarian Summit, I decided, there's never been a youth summit before, but I decided that we needed a youth summit because we're all about inspiring our youth and to be humanitarians. And when I was trying to figure out who would be the leader of the youth summit, I mean, I didn't have to think long, there was no question. I met these two young men about a couple years ago at an event, and they have an organization called Working Together for Change, and they are totally all about helping people who are homeless. And they are really two of the most amazing young men I know. They have done so much, and they're true humanitarians. So I'd like to introduce Nitish and Aditya Sood. Oh, where's Aditya? I forgot to mention, they are the co-chairs of our youth summit, which will be tomorrow at a church right down the street, Pilgrimage United Church of Christ. So.
All right, well, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm so excited and delighted to be here at the opening ceremony of the Global Humanitarian Summit, sitting with all of you today. And I'm even more excited to be leading the Global Humanitarian Youth Summit tomorrow, as Debbie mentioned, which is just down the street at the Pilgrimage United Church of Christ. And I'm hoping everyone or some of you will be able to take some time out and go there. But before I go into any specifics about the Youth Summit and how my brother and I joined the effort, I'd like to just tell you a bit about me. So my name, as Debbie mentioned, is Nitish. 3 years ago, my brother and I founded Working Together for Change, which is a nonprofit dedicated to ending homelessness. Now, when my brother and I started, it was just him, me, and 2 or 3 of our friends, which we convinced to drag down one afternoon. But over the course of 3 years, we've had the great opportunity to watch Working Together for Change grow into an amazing nonprofit, which now has hundreds of youth volunteering to help thousands of homeless people across the nation. And none of this would have been, thank you. But really, none of this would have been possible without the support of countless individuals, such as Dr. Neil Schulman. I'll tell you the story of how we met, actually. It was 1 or 2 months into our operation, and this was when we had no idea what we were doing. We were kind of just hanging around, thinking of brainstorming ways where we could get Working Together for Change involved and on the ground. And we went to Dr. Schulman for some advice. We were just expecting 5 or 10 minutes of his time, maybe 1 or 2 tips on how to, really improve a nonprofit and how to get it started off. But what we got was an overwhelming amount of support from Dr. Schulman. And I think everyone here knows of Dr. Schulman's great efforts, great humanitarian efforts, and has personally experienced the benefit of Dr. Schulman's work. For instance, my brother and I, we were just expecting a couple minutes. We got support that has lasted 3 years. We got connections that have lasted many, many years. In fact, our first connection was due to Dr. Schulman. We were hosting a medical fair, and we didn't have any idea how to do it. We didn't have the supplies, the venue, the doctors, the volunteers, the homeless people. We didn't have anything. But Dr. Schulman came to our rescue, and he connected us to an organization called the Ironman's Organization. And over the course of 3 years, we now have the opportunity to work with the organization for 13 or 14 medical fairs now, helping hundreds of people in each medical fair. And this is the kind of connections that Dr. Schulman has been absolutely essential for. And I think everyone here can give him a great round of applause, because this is just the kind of person that he is. This isn't one example. This is just the kind of person that he is. Yeah. So, as I mentioned earlier, Working Together for Change is dedicated to ending homelessness, and we have 3 main initiatives to do so. The first is our immersion pillar, and the immersion pillar is all about getting high school students, and really all ages of youth, involved in getting a face-to-face experience with the homeless, a face-to-face experience with the homeless, to basically get rid of the stereotypes that many people have, that my brother and I even had before we started Working Together for Change. The idea that most homeless people are middle-aged, drunk men, maybe doing drugs, sleeping on a park bench. When in fact, the reality is the average homeless person is under the age of 18. Just kids. But when you think about that, that was really what had prompted us into action. And we began with just a couple of simple initiatives, going down to housing centers and playing with the kids. Over the years, our second pillar emerged, which was the medical pillar. As I mentioned earlier, it was largely due to Dr. Schulman that it all started. But in fact, in our first medical pillar, our first medical initiative, we met Debbie. And over the years, Debbie's been a tremendous supporter of us as well. So I'd like to thank her for that and the countless hours she's poured into making the summit such a great success. There's no way this could happen without her. And finally, our third pillar was all about social entrepreneurship, which was really about ending homelessness. For kids, it was about preventing them actually ever becoming homeless, targeting the at-risk youth and giving them scholarships to entrepreneurship programs. For adults, it was all about giving them job interview skills and application skills to make sure they could land a sustainable job and have income for the rest of their life. But it was around last year when I realized that we were doing all this work to help the homeless community, but none of it would have been possible without the help and support of our mentors. And it became my dream, my aspiration to actually go out and become a mentor for a bright young kid like my brother and I were 3 years ago. So that's what prompted us to begin looking for ways we could get involved in things like the Global Humanitarian Youth Summit. That began when Debbie connected us to the summit. So now I'll just go into some specifics about the summit itself. The Global Humanitarian Youth Summit is all about empowering youth to follow their dreams. Many times youth have dreams and they have ideas and they have passion, but they just don't have the experience or the funds or the mentors necessary in order to pursue this passion and make it a reality. And that just as easily could have been us. But due to the mentoring of Debbie and Dr. Schulman, due to our connections with Tina, I don't know if she's here tonight, but Tina and many other people, meeting Dr. Babs and Mrs. Naomi King, and many other people, that we were fortunate enough to have working together for change grow. So the Youth Summit really showcases not only successful youth entrepreneurs, people, for instance, one woman who has actually met President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and been congratulated in the Oval Office about her work reducing gun violence. Another two kids who were simply 11 and 13 when they started a company about environmental conservation and helping the environment and making sure that it was sustainable for one more generation. But also, kids who had no idea what they were going to do. For instance, the kids that are going to be in attendance, they have a basic idea. They have a rudimentary idea. But it's really our job, and everyone in this room who have been successful or who've pursued their dreams and their passions, to help these kids make it a reality. And that's what the Youth Summit's all about. Taking dreams and making it into reality. Allowing these kids and empowering them to pursue these dreams. And the Youth Summit is structured that way too. We begin with ideation panels, then go to nonprofit startup, then fundraising and social media and making partnerships and strategic alliances. It's all in the setup of a chronological order of here's what needs to be done and here's how you can achieve that. Now, every day when we go to an event or whenever we think about what to do next, one of the first people we call on is our mentors. And without mentors, every young kid is bound to have such a harder time going through it. So we really wanted to be the mentors for these kids. And we really wanted to get people who could do such a thing. So we brought in two of our mentors to give in the morning and the evening keynote. For the morning keynote, we have Mr. Jamal Liverpool of the Giving Point Institute. And the Giving Point Institute is a fantastic program that my brother and I are actually involved in right now. It helps turn kids' ideas into nonprofits, sustainable nonprofits. He's worked with over 45 kids, making each of their dreams come to reality. And I hope you all will be there to be able to see how he makes these dreams into reality, be able to see how he's able to so effectively challenge these kids into improvising and solving challenges and overcoming hurdles. And our evening keynote is going to be given by Mr. Pradeep Biswas, who's the Vice President of the Regional Commission of Homelessness in United Way. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have had experiences with United Way because it's a pretty big multinational organization. And Mr. Biswas, and we are actually privileged to know Mr. Biswas because he's the Vice President of such a prestigious organization. He's going to be coming down talking about things like fundraising and social media and strategic alliances. But if there's one message I really want to leave you all with the Youth Summit, it's the idea that no kid can do it alone. It's the idea that every kid needs help and needs guidance along the way. I know my brother and I are going to be there tomorrow at the Pilgrimage United Church of Christ, trying to help turn these kids' dreams into realities. But we can't do that without your help. So I hope to see at least some of you be able to take the time out, maybe 10 or 15 minutes out of your day, to just go down and watch one kid present. Because you will not believe the amount of gratitude they have. You will not believe the amount that they see this random stranger coming down, believing in themselves, maybe more than they believe in themselves. But this person coming down saying, I believe in you, and I think you can make your dream into a reality. So I just want to leave you with the message that if you can possibly have 10 to 15 minutes to come down, I would hope that you all can make it. And I'd like to call up my co-chair, Odette Sood, and my brother for the Youth Summit up now.
Hey everybody, that was a good speech, Nitish. Thank you all so much for coming out here. We're looking forward to seeing you come out to the Youth Summit as well. Take care.
Thank you so much for having us here today. My name is Reggie Davis. My wife is JD. We have a nonprofit called Roots House of Atlanta. It was ironic when we met. I've been clean for over 10 years, and she was homeless in the airport at one time. So we came up with the nonprofit of Roots House of Atlanta. But I guess what I'm here to talk about, through the blessing of meeting her and starting our nonprofit, we did radio and television here in Atlanta. Now we have the opportunity to go to Kona, Hawaii, and be on Pacific Radio. We actually supposed to been there now. We were supposed to leave last Tuesday, but it was more important for me to be here and honor Dr. Neil Schumann. About 3 months ago, I went to the hospital having some stomach pain and got in, and they told me, well, you need to stay a little longer. I think you need some surgery on your heart. Okay. My wife called Dr. Schumann, Dr. Neil, and I'm in the room with the doctor, the cardiologist, and he was talking to Dr. Neil. And all of a sudden, the doctor's laughing, and I'm wondering, okay, Doc, you need to be talking to me. But he got into talking to Dr. Neil. But what I guess I'm trying to say, Dr. Neil is someone who cares for everyone. When I first met him at a film festival, and I'm looking at him across the room, and he's talking to everybody. He had his little hat on. He had his books in his hand, and he was walking around. He's talking to everybody. I'm like, who is this guy with his hat on and all these books in his hand? But for me, it's been a blessing to have met him because he meets no stranger, and it's just an honor to be here. And it was worth me putting off a trip to Hawaii to be here to honor Dr. Neil tonight. And thank you so much.
Well, Dr. Neil, good to have you here. Neil Schulman, AKA the real Doc Hollywood, is an associate professor of internal medicine at Emory University School of Medicine. He was co-producer of the movie Doc Hollywood starring Michael J. Fox, which was based on one of his books. He has also written and or produced for CBS, CNN, and Disney. He was at one time a researcher in cardiovascular disease, receiving over $8 million in grants and co-authoring over 50 scientific papers. Now he is traipsing around the world, speaking on serious health issues and performing comedy for kids, general audiences, and seniors. He has performed for events for Rosalind Carter, the United Nations, Disney, cancer patients, Alzheimer's patients, kids with disabilities, and fundraisers with Jane Fonda and Miss America. I'm also privileged to be able to say that he has also been a speaker at each of the first 4 Southern Fried Laughter Conferences. And he's also scheduled to speak at the 5th Laughter Conference this coming at the end of April. So we love that. So he has also served as chairman of the board for the Real Patch Adams, a nonprofit organization, Gesundheit Institute. And of course, he was the creator of the Global Humanitarian Summit. Yes. The first 4 years, it was held at Emory University, and then, of course, he passed the torch to Debbie, and it's going to be held here at Unity. And this is just the beginning. The organization that they are actually trying to create is Humanitarian Unite, and it's hoped that this will spread throughout all of the different faith organizations throughout the world, so that not just here at Unity North Atlanta, any faith-based house of worship around the world will be having an international summit. That way, those who are doing humanitarian work, like the 2 young men said, you need mentors, you need other people, you need support. How many times humanitarians don't have a place where they can get together and meet, greet, and learn from other humanitarians. So that can only help the world. So without any further ado, we're going to invite up Dr. Neil Schulman.
Thank you very much. I appreciate recognition, but I will tell you that it's all done for greed on my part. And the greed is the joy of getting to know people like you all, who will make our planet a much better planet. I want you to know that we are very, very excited about the potential of this event springboarding to a movement. Now, you might have heard of a guy named Gandhi, and he had a movement. And then there was this guy named Martin Luther King. He had a movement too. Those two people are probably known throughout the world more than any other person. And now there's a third person. It happens to be a woman, Naomi King. Naomi King, who's the sister-in-law of Martin Luther King and the wife of A.D. King, was at this church a year ago speaking. And she was responsible for inspiring this church to take what we had at Emory and take it global as a movement where hopefully every synagogue, mosque, church in the world will have something like this, where we bring people together from all religions, all races, all countries, who do wonderful things, and they are friends. And ideally, this could become a website where people from Syria, from Russia, from China, who want to help homeless people connect up with these guys. And if this becomes that type of a movement, which it's on the way right now, then this day and this event will be a piece of history which will make, ideally, the next generation live on a planet we can be proud of. Now, Miles, would you come up here? This is my son, Miles. And Miles, do you think it's nice for all these people to be concerned about your future?
Yes.
Okay. I just wonder if you could pick out 3 or 4 of these people who are doing wonderful things and give them a hug for doing that. Thank you. And I don't know if Zoe is here, my wife. Did she disappear? Well, Zoe, I just want to say, has contributed tremendously to this entire effort, and I really respect that. I want to say that the greatest part and the most exciting part of this whole event is the one-on-one relationships that will take place and have already started to take place between people doing these wonderful things. Let me give you an example. Have any of you ever heard of a fellow by the name of Tyler Perry? There's a woman who works for him here. Is she here? Would you come up here for a second? She just got out of jail. She is working on a screenplay about a poor kid who teaches a rich gentleman how to be a good, caring gentleman. And I'm sure those guys who work with homeless people could tell you who could play some of those roles who are real people. For you all to connect will be wonderful. The ideal is that this movie will generate tons of money that can be used for your type of effort. And there are a few other people who are trying to empower kids so every kid gets a chance to make it. That weird-looking guy, Kevin McDermott, has a wonderful nonprofit. And then this guy here, who came all the way from Nigeria. It's not hollow, I wanted you to know. He has a parade, Babs, a parade, and he empowers poor kids and gives them a chance. The A.D. King Foundation. So when these people meet each other and connect, there's such great synergy. And they aren't necessarily the same race, the same religion. They're not even from the same country, maybe not even from the same continent. Yeah. So I just want to say that this is the spirit of this. And we do even have people from as far away as China. There's a fellow over there who's going to be exhibiting who's concerned about people knowing if they have an emergency and getting to an emergency room on time. And he's created something you can put on your website for kids, adults, and pregnant women and instantly know whether that is possible. Could you come up here for 1 second? A Chinese guy, he's another planet. We've got Africa, the United States, China. How long have you been working on this?
So I met Dr. Schulman last year, and after talking with him a bit, he inspired me with his book, Your Body's Red Light Warning Signals, to create an application that would be accessible to everyone. And this would be very useful because many people who don't know that they might have a disease, they would be able to instantly find a possible disease or life-threatening symptom. And I've been working on it ever since last year, and by now it's already finished, and I'm in the process of getting it published into the App Store where it'll be accessible for everyone.
Thank you. And he even has his parents here. Where's your mother? There she is. She just picked me up one day and connected me with him. So here we've got all continents. We've got people coming together from all cultures. And we even have somebody named Emily over here who has been with this movement for quite some time. But I really, really am most excited about the leadership of this effort. And people like Debbie, like her whole wonderful team of people. And if they can move forward after this summit and develop a plan and a strategy to have one of these summits in every house of prayer in the world, it'll be a movement. But it's a movement not by Gandhi, not by Martin Luther King, but by women. Women leading us forward to help us make the world a better planet. And in that context, I'd like to introduce one other person who's an advocate for women in the Congo. Is he here? Can you come up here for a second? This gentleman works at the Center for Disease Control. He's from the Congo. In the Congo, there are about how many women who've been raped and killed in the past few years?
Over 2 million, for sure.
Over 2 million. And sadly, it's not like in Hitler days where you can't find out about it. You can call on your cell phone. You can talk to the father or the mother of that young girl who was raped. And there are tremendous resources that come from the Congo that go throughout the world, computer chips, cell phones, and there are people generating a lot of money from all countries from this, but getting them together to prioritize women and young girls living a long, healthy dash of life is a real challenge. Did you have a sentence to say about that?
Well, I just want to thank everyone for putting together the summit. Events like this definitely help create the awareness that's needed and the connection and the help that's needed. So I look forward to chatting with a lot of you guys who are also doing great work out there.
Thank you very much. I wish I could take every single person in this room and have them share what they do. But that will happen when you go to the exhibit areas, when you're in the other sessions during this summit. And I just really want to say there are rich people who care a lot. There are poor people who care a lot. Michael J. Fox, when we wrote the book, Doc Hollywood, which was this book originally, What Did Again? And now they're making it into a Broadway musical. And I'd love for the funds from that to go help with Parkinson's and many other things. But Michael Fox, when we were filming that movie, he took money out of his pocket and threw a dinner on Thanksgiving for homeless people. That's who he was. So the spirit of the people in this room is the greatest spirit I can be around. It's not rich people, it's not famous people, it's caring people. And there's only one other alternative for a humanitarian summit. When women breastfeed, there's a hormone called oxytocin, and it makes them empathetic. If we could just take that hormone, get the CDC to take the hormone, attach it to a virus, and spray it around the globe. We could make that happen. I, again, wish my wife was here, but do you know where she went, Miles? Oh, she had a date with... But I do salute Zoe for everything she's done as well. And I hope and I pray that this kind church that's been so generous is the catapulting vehicle for humanitarian summits around the globe. Naomi King being the inspiration for that, and the tremendous, wonderful people who've dedicated a lot of time, including Debbie and Sadie and Emily and tons of others, to be able to move forward as a full-time job and teach and instruct houses of prayer so they can have events like this every year. Thank you.
The video is next. I've been telling Debbie, and we've been having this dialogue, that the universe has placed its stamp of approval every step of the way of this conference. Things drop off, something takes its place that's even better. Things happen, and then it realizes that it needed to happen, because if that didn't happen, a few other good things wouldn't have come about. So it's been amazing. And one more thing just happened. Of course, Neil doesn't know the order of how things are going to be performing, but he brings up the person that is the assistant, the person here for the next person who's going to perform, who is from the Congo. So it's like things are just kind of synergistically flowing. The person that we're going to have, our next performer, is Minister Mikey Jones. He's a native of Rome, Georgia, currently resides here in Atlanta. Mikey uses his gift of music through singing, and he does so at weddings and various charity functions all around the greater Atlanta area. He has helped Congolese genocide awareness, which is even more of a humanitarian effort, even more so than the women. There are, of course, millions of men who are taken from their homes and for no other reason than that they do not actually want to go with the current powers that be or whatever, and they're being killed. He is going to increase our awareness with a song titled Letter to Pauline, which actually you'll see the video as well. So he's going to be performing that for us tonight, so please welcome Minister Mikey Jones.
Thank you for the introduction. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be standing before you on today. Give everyone a round of applause at this time. I want to applaud all of you on your on the cause itself and for what you do for this world on a daily basis. Continue to sacrifice and not be selfish in your ways. This song was written on my behalf. The Congo Genocide Awareness Organization asked for my help in writing a song. It's entitled Letter to Pauline. there was a leader in the Congo by the name of Patrice Lumumba, where he was taken into custody by government authorities, and he was pretty much executed for his beliefs. They fought for their independence. Eventually, they received it. But in the process, he wrote his wife, Pauline, a letter, and the words were taken from that letter and turned into a song. So I recorded the song. Video was produced on behalf of the song as well. And so as I'm singing, you will see the video as well. Thank you.
Faith, we stay unshakable. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. But my faith will stay unshakable. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo.
I'm writing you a letter. Don't know if it'll reach you or when it'll reach you. If I'm still living when it reaches you. Dead, living free or in prison, our people. It's not I who counts, it's the Congo, our people. We wish for independence, freedom without restriction. Never doubted the sacred, cause we fought without conviction. Devoted our entire lives for our glorious nation. Hoping in the end it would bring us jubilation. Because our freedom has been truly confined, with the world looking at us from behind in the middle. But my faith is unshakable. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. But my faith will stay unshakable. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. I desire all my children who I'm leaving behind, and perhaps will never see again, to look ahead in time, to be told about the future, about country and our pride. And it expects every single one of them to be keeping hope alive, that love will be the only way for our people to survive, to realize the grass is greener on the other side. Without justice there's no dignity, without freedom we're not free. I'd rather die with my head high than live in slavery. Without justice there's no dignity, without freedom we're not free. I'd rather die with my head held high than live in slavery. But my faith will stay unshakable. Hey, we are not alone. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. Long live the Congo. My faith will stay unshakable. Faith will stay unshakable. We are not all alone. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. Please don't wait for me, my dear companion. I know my country will suffer so much, will know how to defend its independence. Neither brutal assault, no cruel mistreatment has ever led me to beg for mercy. But my faith will stay. But my faith will stay unshakable. We are not all alone. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. Long live the Congo. But my faith will stay unshakable. Faith will stay unshakable. We are not all alone. We are not all alone. Long live Africa. Long live Africa. Long live the Congo. Long live the Congo.
Thank you.
So as we can see, we got a lot of amazing people. And so we hope that, as we say, we come here to inspire and to be inspired. So we know that there are a lot of people that are doing things around the world, and as we keep coming together, then we can continue to feel energized to keep going and doing what we do. Our next speaker is going to be Reverend David Hiller. He has a master's degree in counseling and is a minister, spiritual counselor and healer, personal empowerment coach, and Psych K facilitator. He has been speaking, presenting workshops and motivational seminars, and doing individual sessions for over 27 years in churches, agencies, hospitals, and colleges throughout the country. And he has witnessed thousands of miracles and personal shifts. He has experienced miracles in his own life and believes in the power of creating our reality through our heart in synchronicity with our subconscious mind beliefs. David and his wife, Margaret, wrote the popular self-help book, Dare to Dream, Healing Fears, Creating Miracles and Living Your Dreams. He is nationally recognized for his guided meditations and energetic, informative, and interactive presentations, storytelling, and workshops. So we are very, very pleased and honored to have him with us. Come up, please, Reverend David Hiller.
One of the things that I have found in my travels and the work that I do is the absolute importance of feeling welcomed and supported on this planet. And what happens to us when we don't feel welcomed. The first thing that happens is it's really hard to connect with our hearts because we're dealing with wounds that have been there for a long, long time. And so I want to tell you a story about my journey through welcoming and support. A number of years ago, my wife and I had the privilege of speaking at Unity Village in a week-long conference. And we just got through doing a talk, and we were feeling really good about being there. The support and the love there was just absolutely wonderful. And they made an announcement right after our talk about another Unity minister that was going to do a talk the next day. And his name was Sky St. John. And they said the title of his talk is called Coming Home. And as soon as I heard those words, something connected within me that was really powerful. And a voice told me, you've got to go to this workshop because it's going to be very important for you. And so I went to the workshop. And in the midst of the workshop, Sky tells us a story about how he was trained to do the Coming Home experience by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And in the midst of his training, there was a whole group of Vietnam veterans out in the audience. And Elizabeth asked the vets if they would be willing to go into another room and wait in there for a while because she wanted to create some healing for them. And so they agreed to do that. And so she talks to the rest of the audience and she says, you know, these men and women are still dealing with the atrocities of that war. But even more so than that, when they came back to our country, they were not welcomed home. And that has hurt them for a long, long, long time. And it's time that we do something about them to help them heal once and for all. So everybody agreed to do that. So she invites the vets back in, and as soon as they walked in, everybody started cheering and clapping and giving words of praise, and somebody ran to the piano and started playing parade music. And the energy in there was so powerful that the vets were overcome with emotion. And they fell to their hands and knees and just started weeping. Years and years and years of tears just pouring down their cheeks. And the facilitator, Elizabeth, asked the vets if they would stand back up, and she asked the rest of the group to give them healing words and healing touch. And she asked the vets to walk amongst the people to receive this blessing. Well, they were so overcome with emotion, so weak-kneed, they couldn't walk. And they fell back down on their hands and knees and literally had to crawl amongst the people to receive their blessings. But they did it. And a miracle happened for them that day that they'd been praying for years and years and years. They finally felt welcomed home to their own country. So Sky tells us his story, and then he says, in our group here, anyone that has not felt welcomed and supported in your life in any way, shape, or form, you go to the back of the room now, and the rest of us are going to go to the front of the room, and we're going to be your Welcome Home committee, and you're going to tell us your story about how you didn't feel welcomed, and we're going to welcome you home once and for all. So a bunch of people went to the back of the room, and I, being one of the facilitators of the workshop, just thought that I should go up and support everybody else. But as I was walking to the front of the room, I heard a little voice speak to me and said, Dave, you know what? You've been holding on to something for a long, long, long time. And this is your chance to tell your story. So you go to the back of the room. Well, I listened to that inner voice, but I wasn't quite sure what it was referring to, but I knew it was important. So I turned around and went to the back of the room. And one by one, every person that had a chance to talk told this amazing story of how they didn't feel welcomed in their life and what they needed to heal. And one by one, Sky walked them up to the front of the room and embraced them and welcomed them home. And the committee gave them loving touch and healing words and blessing and welcomed them home. And their tears were flowing, and it was amazing. I was in awe watching this scenario. And then all of a sudden, it was my turn. And I walked up to the podium in the back of the room, and I picked up the mic, and I still didn't know what I was going to say. But that inner voice spoke to me and said, Dave, guess what? You were one of those Vietnam vets. Your country, your father, everybody completely forgot about you as if you didn't even exist. And when you got on that plane to go home with all the other men and women after your term was over with, and you arrived in San Francisco, and you got off that plane thinking that lots of people were going to be there to embrace you and thank you, there was not one single person there for any one of us. And that has hurt for over 30 years. And this is your chance to tell your story once and for all and heal. So I grabbed that microphone, and I was literally trembling, and I managed to somehow choke out the words. And I said, you know, it was hard enough to be there. It was hard being there. But to come home to a country that hated me just because I was there was too much to deal with. I have to be welcomed home by my own country so I can finally heal from this. And no sooner did I say those words than about 150 people rushed at me, practically knocked me on the floor. They were giving me words of love and healing and wonderful blessings. And Sky held me and said, welcome home, Dave. We're so glad you're back. And I was overcome with emotion. And I fell to my hands and knees and just started weeping, 30 years of tears pouring down my cheeks. Uncontrollable. The first time that I had cried since I came back from Vietnam. I finally let go once and for all. And then somebody said something to me that changed my life. They said, David, we're not only welcoming you home and thanking you for your service, but you tell your story wherever you go. Because there are thousands and thousands of people all over the planet that have not felt welcomed and supported in their lives. And they have to feel that to heal. And right then and there, I made a vow to do just that. And as soon as I did, an anvil of weight lifted from my shoulders that I'd been carrying all those years, and I was healed. I was healed. And so I learned that it's never, ever, ever too late to be blessed. It's never too late. You call on that blessing from the divine aspect of who you are, your heart, and someday, somehow, somewhere, that blessing will come true for you. And I learned the importance of living in our hearts and how powerful it is to be supported in who we are. And when we feel welcomed and supported, we are able to live in our hearts. We are able to heal. And in that healing, our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to serve others, to help others, to heal. Because we all have wounds from the past. We've all had circumstances where we didn't feel loved and supported. And sometimes those circumstances are so powerful that we forget who we are. And it's really hard to be of service when we don't know the truth of who we are. So right here, right now, any of you that's had any circumstance in your life where you didn't feel that love and support and it affected you in a powerful way, I'm here to say to you that it's not too late for you to be blessed. I'm here to say to you that I am calling on the divine, on the angels, on the holy ones right here, right now to serve you, to help you move through this energy so that you too can heal. I know it's possible because it happened for me, and it affected my life from that moment on. One of the things that I did from that is I created my own version of the coming home, and I call it Welcome Home. And I've done it all over the country for anyone, including vets, that have not felt welcomed in their lives. Because my mission, my job, is to help to and create peace on this planet. I know the opposite of that. I've been there. I know what it's like. And I can guarantee you that war is not the answer, and it never will be. So together, we can contribute to the peace in the world. We can hold the holy vision for our leaders of this country and other countries to see the light, to know that there's another way besides war, to know that we can come to an agreement with others when we connect with the heart, because that's the energetic connector. That connects us all and us all to the planet. And if we work together and we support each other and we encourage each other, anything's possible on this planet. And I can't think of a better time than right here, right now, with all that's going on, to heal the wars that are going on inside of us first, so that we can feel that peace and then project that peace out to the planet and encourage everyone to feel that too and to support others. And we can make a difference in this world. We can make a difference. Think about that right now. And every day and every way you can, connect in your heart with loving thoughts, holy feelings, powerful, loving belief systems, knowing that anything is possible, including creating peace for ourselves, for our neighbors, for our community, for our country, and for the planet too. And the planet is crying out for our help right now. It needs us. It needs us. You are divine expressions of holiness. Together, our hearts have the ability to create an amazing planet where everyone is loved and supported. Everyone has food. Everyone has clothing. Everyone gets an opportunity to live the truth of who they are without fear. And so I salute you for who you are, and I encourage you to reach out and touch someone with your heart. And remember this: May the divine bless you and welcome home on your journey. Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you so much. Very, very moving, and I know that I need to feel welcomed. I'm going to take those points to heart. Our next speaker, I will give the synopsis that has been given, and then we'll have some more personal introductions that will be for Ms. Naomi Ruth Barber King. She's the widow of Alfred Daniel Williams King, or more affectionately, A.D. King. He was a civil rights leader and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s younger brother. She is also the founder and chair emeritus of the board of directors of the A.D. King Foundation, which is all about youth empowerment. At the age of 83, after 45 years of silence since her husband's death, Mrs. King began sharing her story with the world and unleashing her husband's legacy. She is the author of A.D. and M.L. King, Two Brothers Who Dared to Dream. Mrs. King is also a consulting producer of the award-winning documentary and feature film about her husband's life and legacy, A.D. King, Brother to the Dreamer. Mrs. King is the recipient of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Rosa Parks Freedom Award, King for America Truth Finder Award, Hope Worldwide Living Legend Award, History Makers Award, and the Legacy Ladies Tea Award. She has been featured in the AARP documentary Voices of Civil Rights. She is a member of the NAACP, the SCLC, Priests for Life, Women of SCLC, SCLC Women, and American Bridge Association. We have a lot of letters there. She is noted for her devotion to her God, her family, and her church. Now that's the writing, and I got the honor of reading that. And it's been an honor to be able to meet her for the last year or two. And so I'm going to go ahead and invite up, is Dr. Babs going to come, or are you going to come next? Debbie Ellison, go ahead and come up and make your.
First, I'd like to, I'd like to, Emily. I'd like to introduce Dr. Babs Onabanjo. Dr. Babs is the CEO of the A.D. King Foundation and an amazing, wonderful man. Dr. Babs, can you just stand up for a minute? I just really quick wanted to say something personal about Mrs. King. I've had the honor and privilege of traveling with Mrs. King and Dr. Babs, and I just wanted to say that Mrs. King is the most loving person I have ever met. She is the living example of everything that A.D. King and Martin Luther King taught about loving and nonviolence. She's just one of the most amazing women I have ever known. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you Mrs. Naomi Ruth Barber King.
Good evening. To God be the glory for the great things He has done for us, for what He is doing right now, and for what He will do for us. to the organizers of this wonderful 2016 Global Humanitarian Summit, I want to say thank you for inviting me. I want to particularly thank the pastor and the congregation of Unity North Atlanta Church. We have just started a movement, and together we have accepted the call to action. Today, we summon all humanitarian people of faith to come together for the unity of mankind, peace, and love. Please give Unity Church another rousing applause. Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you, Unity Church. And thank Almighty God for such a moment and time like this. I love you. On behalf of the A.D. King Foundation, named for my esteemed husband, I am extremely grateful. And I also want to extend my gratitude to Dr. Neil Schumann, Miss Debbie Ellison, chair of this wonderful event, and the illustrious Dr. Babs Onabanjo, President and CEO of the A.D. King Foundation, and to you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Naomi Ruth Barbara King, sister-in-law of Dr. Christine King Farris, Mrs. Coretta Scott King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and wife of my beloved, my Boaz, if you will, the Reverend A.D. Williams King. Please take the hand next to you and squeeze it in unity. And let us pray. God of our weary years and God of our silent tears, we thank you for your grace, your mercy, your goodness, your kindness, your blessings in each of our lives. Lord, we live in a complex world, but we remain true to you. We give you honor, praise, and glory. And all of God's children say, amen. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I'll say that again. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. As mothers, and I am blessed to be the mother of 5 beautiful children, 3 have passed on and 2 yet live. Our first obligation is to protect our children from perceived danger and bodily harm. We knew the danger was real, hate was the underlying factor, and we were fighting racism, poverty, and war. We faced powerful water hoses, billy clubs, dogs, police brutality, and many toils and danger of imaginable proportion and dimensions. However, AD and ML would always remind us that this was a spiritual movement. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Joseph will always go before us and shield us from the obvious danger we face day in and day out unfailingly. We were taught to believe in the power of nonviolent social change backed by our prayers and our faith as our weapon of defense. Today, we face familiar episodes playing out on our television, our current political climate, and embarrassing circumstances are dividing our nation. We need prayers. Say that again. We need prayers. We mothers must pray ceaselessly for the soul of America. When mothers pray, heaven's doors open and moves the heart of God. It was the cry of the mother that moved God's heart to raise her son from the dead, Luke 7:12-15. We mothers must stand up for righteousness, for decency, for good leadership, for our children, for each other, and for our nation. Everyone should be proud to be an American and may strive to the highest political position in our nation, regardless of gender, ethnicity, or religion. We must continue to fight for justice, freedom, equality, equal pay for men and women, fairness, civil as well as human rights. After the bombing of Birmingham's 16th Street Church, in which 4 little children were killed, 2 of the 4 girls were Alvidas, that's my firstborn of 5, were classmates. A.D. King felt that the struggle strategy must change and the youth must take the front seat. A.D., my beloved husband, came home and said to me, "Prepare the children for the battle ahead. They are now to play a leading role." As a mother, I was afraid for my children because the danger was real. Seeing the devastating effect of the Birmingham bombing and later the bombing of our home as a result of the leadership of my iconic husband and the perceived effectiveness of the magnificent demonstrations organized by the community leaders, such as Reverend Shuttlesworth, Reverend Nelson, Reverend Woods, Reverend A.D. King, and many, many others. We are now at a crossroad in America, and it's a matter of urgency to take a stand and vote. Exercise your power, exercise your right, exercise your civic responsibility, and be a proud American. Your vote is mightier than guns, weapons of mass destruction, and mass misdirection. God did not give you the spirit of fear, but that of wisdom and a sound mind. Exercise it. Exercise it. Reverend A.D. King would line up his children and the children of his church congregation, and thousands and hundreds would follow. This changed the strategy of the movement and became a force and an unstoppable movement. The police became powerless, but sometimes they would use tear gas, billy clubs, dogs, water hose, and brute force to dismiss the demonstrations. Are we not today repeating history? I'm going to ask you that again and I want you to think about it. Are we not today repeating history? We must not turn the clock backwards and reverse the gains fought with the blood of our martyrs, such as notable people as M.L. King and A.D. King, Viola Lewis Zoe, the four little girls of Birmingham, Alabama, and so many, many more. AD would always make sure that the children were protected as they were quickly removed from harm's way or perceived danger as quickly as possible. Sometimes some were arrested and had to be released within 24 hours without bail, and it became an economic strategy and effective in many ways. The inhuman treatments of our kids were televised all over the world, which caused many to question the morality or the moral fiber of our nation to the world. Again, a repeat of history, but we must be vigilant and not rest on our laurels. We cannot rest on our laurels. Now, it's time to change our curriculum to be inclusive and teach the African American history in our elementary, middle, and high schools. This is who we are and part of the American experience. We are proud of those. We are with the blood of kings and queens flowing through our veins from our ancestors. We are people of a great heritage and pride. Let's keep Dr. King's dream alive. Let's continue to build a beloved community with justice, equality, and peace as the center core. Please volunteer or donate cheerfully and generously to the A.D. King Foundation. Your support would be greatly appreciated to sustain our youth empowerment activities and programs. I would like to share a story to you about Martin Luther King Jr. And as you heard earlier, everybody has a story. It's up to you if you tell it. So I am just going to tell you one of many, many stories of my life, Coretta and ML parented 4 beautiful children. Yolanda Denise, who is deceased, Martin Luther King III, Dexter Scott King, and Bernice. Yolanda and I were born on the very same date, November 17th, 1931 for me, and you can do the math. And Yolanda was born November 17th, 1955. I was so excited that Yolanda was born on my niece. I told my husband, A.D., I said, I've got to go to Montgomery and share some love and show Yolanda some love, and Yoki, as we called her. So that's exactly what I did. I went to Montgomery, Alabama, to show Yoki some love. It was late one night, about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I was seated in the living room of their home, and Coretta was attending to Yoki, and I was just sitting in the darkened living room, just thanking God for his goodness and his grace, his love, and his mercy. And ML, as we lovingly call him in the family, came in about that time, about 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. And the only thing he ever called me was by my nickname, was Nene. So I was Nene to him, and he was ML to me. ML went straight to his mantle, and I was glad that the living room was dark so that he couldn't see my face. And so as he was standing at the mantle, I noticed that he was tugging at his shirt collar, which was open, and he continued to do that. And then he said, Nene. I said, yes, ML. He said, do you know what happened to me? I said, no, ML. I said, what happened to you? He said, I was detained at the police station, and they tried to choke me to death with my tie. And tears began to fall from my eyes then, and I can listen to him as he continued to talk. And the next thing he said to me floored me. He said, "Nene," he said, "you know what?" He said, "the more that they continue to abuse us as a people, and we just trample to death with just hatred and then all of the other atrocities and things that happen to us." He said, "Nene," he said, "the more that they do this to us as a people," he said, "that's the more we've got to love them and forgive them." And so as he continued to talk, I thought in my heart of hearts, I said, you know what, this love, what this world needs is lots of more love, and rid ourselves of hate and all of these other problems. I said, and then when we rid ourselves of all of this, I said, this will be a better community, a better world. And so I said again, I said in my heart of hearts, after listening to ML continue to talk and all, that he would become the leader of the world that he became. End of story. I want to take this opportunity to once again thank you and all of the civil rights activists for taking a stand and for sacrificing for our nation to build a beloved community. We owe you a great gratitude for standing up and singing. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Thank you and God bless you. I love you. There is only one race, the human race, the woman race. I'm going to say that again. There is only one race, the human race, the woman race, and love will overcome evil any day and always. To God be the glory, because God is love. Amen.
Before, there's a young lady here I just want to recognize before she leaves. Cassie Hagerbrook, I'm sorry. She works for the A.D. King Foundation, and all of the little, the gift bags that you've received, she put those all together. And it took her hours and hours and hours, and it's just, the A.D. King Foundation donated all of the things in those bags, all of the bags, so thank you to the A.D. King Foundation, and thank you. Cassie, please stand up.
The Reverend A.D. Williams King was born in 1930 to Dr. and Mrs. Martin Luther King Sr.
All of a sudden, I looked at my picture window and I noticed it had begun to crack. I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, but I noticed my picture window began to crack. And simultaneously, my husband came up from the bedroom and he came up and he opened the door, the front door to our home. And by the time we got to the middle of our home, the second bomb hit.
World War II veteran named Roosevelt Tatum, who introduced himself, said he lived in the neighborhood and asked if he could come in. He would like to talk with them.
Martin Luther King Jr. believed in nonviolence. He did love his his neighbor as himself.
I'm proud of the fact that we have people like AD and others in the movement who gave their lives and their capacity for thought and perspective and vision to the movement.
And I think that it would be good for America and the world to see what he was able to accomplish with the help of God in his own right.
Like his brother and other members of his family, was deeply committed to end segregation.
He was more radical than what you would think.
AD was just as important as ML.
That danger and death were lurking in the shadows.
He was under constant threat. People were continuing to say, we got your brother, we're going to get you.
So I have left yet something that you can't take away, still left with me. Faith, hope, love.
I know what I heard, and I ain't gonna dispute nobody, I ain't gonna debate nobody. The emergency worker said, ain't no water in his lungs. He was dead before he hit the water. And I said, what?
Most disturbing thing to me, how a drowned man didn't have no water in his lungs.
Many people at the time that my father, Reverend A.D. King, died, expressed doubts that it was accidental. The very first reports, they tried to say that Dad had committed suicide.
There was a swimming pool in the backyard. And of course, at that particular time, I was a little afraid of water. I was only 6 years of age, and Uncle A.D. was a very good swimmer.
It's good for us as a family to kind of reflect back on this. We've lived with this and we've known it, but it's good to kind of pull it off the shelf.
They were determined and committed to a cause, and they were willing to pay the ultimate price.
He was at every mass meeting. His church was one of the churches that ended up as a headquarters, not only for voter registration and for demonstrations, but for training young people. So he was right in the middle of all of the movement activity and one of the real leaders.
There would be no possible, as we're filming this Black president, had there not been an A.D. King, had there not been these men and women who were willing to lay their lives on the line.
Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And nothing is more frustrating than to try to push forth an idea whose time has not come. So we've talked about running for political office. Here we are in 2008, talking about electing a Black president. I mean, sure enough.
All I can say to you all that don't know AD, what a man, what a man, what a mighty man.
Wow, very powerful. And something that's even more powerful is I'm sitting down there, I'm watching Mrs. King do her presentation, and I'm trying to figure out, I haven't done the math yet, but if 85, I'm trying to figure out how you can stand up here and read your transcript without having any glasses on. I'm sitting like, what is up? So, I used to have 20/20 vision, and it's like, nah, you still just standing up here reading. I'm going, wow, how did she do that? I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. The official 2016 Global Humanitarian Summit T-shirts have arrived. So if you, we're glad for that. So everybody will be able to get an official T-shirt. I don't know exactly the cost, but doesn't matter the cost. The cause is worth whatever the cost is. Want to make sure that you please make sure that you have registered for the conference. Again, please make sure that you have officially registered for the conference. We want to make sure we really get an actual record of everybody who was here. As Neil said, this is going to be a moment in history. So please make sure you register for the conference out there at the registration table. Also downstairs at the Holy Grounds Cafe, we want you to please also sign up to be a part of the Humanitarians Unite organization that is being created, and it will start after this conference is over. So put your name down to be able to be a part of that, to be on the mailing list, to be able to find out and know what's going on with that organization. It's sprung up out of this conference, and it's about to go straight ahead after we end. Also, if you go ahead and register for the Humanitarians Unites organization, you'll be putting yourself on the list to know about the 2017 Global Humanitarian Summit. So everybody is down there in the Holy Grounds Cafe, so make sure you register for that. If you haven't already done so, please register for the conference. All right, I'm going to now be able to make a great, I never saw Mike perform until the sound check today. And I got to tell you, it was amazing. So you are in for a treat. He's got a saxophone that doesn't look like a saxophone. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Mike Marinelli. right, there I am. Boy, we got some talent in this place. I mean, we got him doing better than Kenny G and everything. We got Mr. Prince singing better than the old classics, so we got some good stuff here. Mike will be performing down in Holy Grounds Cafe tomorrow, off and on throughout the afternoon and the day, so you'll get a chance to hear him if you're down there and perform. He'll perform some more, so we'll look forward to that. Just want to get your attention to your schedule for tomorrow. So if you please, maybe if you got a pen or something, or if you want to please take mental note. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, it has a typo at the very top of the afternoon session. It says that it's supposed to be 2:30. That should be 12:30. So the afternoon talks will start at 12:30 tomorrow instead of, and not 2:30. So if you please make that change on your so we don't want you to miss out on anything if you choose not to do so. I was let's see, given a quick announcement to just have a moment of silence for humanitarian Ralph David Abernathy III, who passed away yesterday. All right, thank you. So, wow, so we get to know about that. I think our next actual final presentation for the evening will be Emily Ashcroft, one of our tireless workers, very dedicated to the Humanitarian Summit. And so we're looking forward to the presentation. It'll be a PowerPoint presentation. So we'll need, I guess, the lights, slightly dimmed. And her title is Humanity, Perspectives on Humankind. Give your welcome to Emily Ashcroft.
Thank you so much. It's a joy to be here. We've had an incredible group of speakers tonight, and it's very humbling to come up here after that group of speakers and have the opportunity to talk to you. I just feel so rewarded. I've been involved with the Humanitarian Summit. This is my 4th year now. And somebody was telling me earlier today, well, you must be a glutton for punishment. And I said, no, I'm a glutton for rewards. Because what I take away from this every year is just a multiple of all of the efforts, all of the humanity, all of the joy and the wonderful spirits that everybody brings to it. And the rewards far exceed all of the effort that I put into it. A few years ago when we were doing this, we had a group in the organizing committee that said, what happened? We've kind of lost our momentum. We're sitting here, we're having meetings twice a week, we're trying to pull this together. And why are we doing it? Why are you here? Why am I here? We're going to have 100 speakers here tomorrow talking about wonderful efforts where they're putting their hearts, their minds, their bodies, and their souls together to make the world a better place, affecting one person at a time. But why are we doing this? And I felt compelled to sit down and try and put something together for them and for all of us that really explained it. And that's what my presentation tonight is all about, Perspectives on Humanity. When we start talking about humanity, the basis, the fundamental piece is humankind. So what is humankind all about? Humankind is a collection of all human beings on earth. It includes all races, ethnicities, all religions, all sexual orientations, genders, accepting of all beliefs, ideologies, persuasions. It's both moral and ethical. Humankind is resilient, reliant, grateful, forgiving, capable of all sympathy and empathy, void of discrimination and contempt, But the bottom line, the basis of humankind says, what is it? It is both human and kind. It's built into the word. That's what we're all about. If we want to talk about humankind, let's explore for a minute just what it means to be a human, because we all look at each other, we all recognize each other, we have our differences, we have our similarities. We say, what does it mean to be human? If you talk to a scientist, talk to a chemist, they're going to tell you, this is what it means to be a human. You can read the recipe. We're enough water to fill a 10-gallon aquarium, enough iron to make 6 10-penny nails, enough carbon to make 1,000 number 2 pencils, enough fat to make 10 bars of soap, some of us 12 bars of soap, enough phosphorus to make 2,500 matches, enough potassium to fire a toy can, and enough sulfur to kill the fleas on 4 dogs, and enough copper to make 2 light switches. That's the essence of what it is that constructs every human being. Short, tall, black, white, male, female. Our chemistry is pretty much all the same. But being a human means a lot more than that. As humans, we look back and we reflect and say, who are we? And our essence starts to come out. As human beings, we are the keeper of the world. We have been trusted to take care of the world, to make it grow and prosper. We are the trustees of God's desires. He has set down principles and practices for us. He has allowed us to be. He's given us our free will. And now it's up to us to be able to put that together, because we are the custodians of God's creations. We are here. We are the gatekeepers. We are the peacekeepers. We are the people that are responsible for taking care of this wonderful place that we call Earth, that we call our homes. Man is placed above all other living creatures by virtue of his intellect and his moral conscience. I think it's about darn sure time we start using both of those. If we've defined now what it means to be human, what are humans for? What practical purpose do we really serve? Why are we here? What purpose do we see? What is our higher purpose? When you think about it, what humans are for, why we exist, overall is for the betterment of humankind as we know it. To help future generations to succeed to live in a better place than what we live in today. We're here to improve on God's world. He has given us the free will. He has given us choice. He has given us the power to create, to improve upon what we have. And we're here for the salvation of the human spirit, because the human spirit, something we all share, is what motivates us, what pushes us forward, which makes us the beings that we are. So if we've talked about humanity and the wonderments of humanity, what about inhumanity? Where does it come from? It doesn't just materialize. There are things there that cause inhumanity. Hatred. You are and I am not. You're something that I am not. I want to be. I hate you for it. Fear. You might do something that I don't like. I don't want you to do that. Greed. You have, I want. Envy. You can, I can't. Beliefs both moral and ethical. Race, religion, and ethnicity, unfortunately, all drive humanity, all sources of inhumanity. So with the humanity there, what are the challenges? What do we bring here? What do we want to accomplish? How do we want to make the world a better place? The challenges are pretty simple when you think about it. We want to break down the barriers. We've built the barriers. We know where they are. They weren't there from the start. God didn't create those barriers. Mankind put them in place, and we can tear them down. We want to tear down the prejudices. We want to look upon our fellow human beings and mankind as being one and the same. We are all one race, as I heard someone say, the human race. And we want to confront those inhuman behaviors, not with war, not with hatred, but with love and with peace. Our methods, you're going to hear today, you're going to hear tomorrow and Sunday, hundreds of speakers talking about how we're going to go about improving upon things. What we want to do here is we want to inform, we want to educate, and we want to advocate. Everything starts with education. That's where you put your first step forward. That's what we're all about. Those are the things we're talking about. We want to connect, we want to converse, we want to cooperate. You heard Dr. Shulman talk about putting people together, the connections that are made here, the bonds that are tied here. It's a very important thing. And we want to lead through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Our goals, obviously, then, are pretty simple. What we want to do is we want to make the place, the world, better for humankind, to improve upon God's world, to use the tools, use the gifts that He bestowed upon us to make the world a better place, and for the salvation of the human spirit. That spirit that binds us all together is to help it to grow and to prosper and be the wonderful thing that it is. And the rewards are wonderful. A world void of inhumanity. Can you imagine? A world void of inhumanity. A world that provides for salvation of the human spirit, and a world that truly is both human and kind, because that's where we go. We close the loop and go back to humankind. With that said, I want to welcome you again to the Global Humanitarian Summit 2016. I hope you enjoy, I hope you prosper, I hope you learn, I hope you grow. But I want to leave you with a message, another thought. Back when we were all much younger, there's a poem that you probably have heard. It goes a little bit like this. It says, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. Some that sell, some that buy, tinker, tailor, soldier, spy. Words that describe people, describe human beings. Titles that we attach. And I'm hoping some of these titles fit you that are here tonight. I hope there's not too many thieves or spies here, but what I want you to do, what I invite you to do for this weekend is set those titles aside. Whatever your title is, whoever you're recognized as being, set it aside. And I want you to take on one title for the weekend, and that title is Humanitarian. What I invite you to do right now is stand up, everybody on their feet. And I want you to look around, and I want you to find one person in the room that you don't know, you've never met before, you have no idea who they are. And I want you to turn to that person and shake hands with them. And I want you to say, my name is, and I'm a humanitarian, and that's why I'm here. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Good job. All right, let's give a hand for Emily Ashcroft. And what a nice conclusion to our first day, our opening night for the Humanitarian Summit. If you'd like, downstairs, there's cake, there's some refreshments in the Holy Grounds Cafe. And be sure to be here tomorrow morning. We have an actual marching band that is going to be here in the morning. You can't miss it. So you guys have a very safe trip home. Enjoy the fellowship. Enjoy everything, that the fellowship downstairs, and we will see you tomorrow.
Can you announce that we're going to sing happy birthday to Neil?
Oh.
Oh, and please,
It's on.
please, hello? Hey, hello everyone, Humanitarians, 2016 Humanitarians. I know it's been a long, jam-packed, beautiful, inspiring night. I know you're anxious to head out, but we have lots of coffee and cake downstairs, and we are going to sing happy birthday to Neil. Today is Neil's birthday. Today is the day. So we have a birthday cake downstairs. Please, if you are getting set to head out for tonight, before you head out, come downstairs right away and help us sing happy birthday to Neil and blow out the candles, please, before you leave, even if you don't want to stay for cake. Okay, thanks.